From Ghana to Nigeria, it's possible. We started train from Ghana to Burkina. So why not Nigeria? If Dr. Amin, it's here. And
first, what is Northern Corridor? Northern Corridor is the multimodal transport starting from the port of Mombasa all the way to Eastern DRC.
Steel lines stretch across red soil. In East Africa, a new symbol of progress is taking shape, not through speeches, but through trains. The 6,220-kilometer East African Standard Gauge Railway, or SGR, is one of the largest transport projects on the continent, designed to connect entire nations through one shared dream: unity through movement. The vision of a connected Africa. The East African community, made up of Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Somalia, has launched a railway project that could reshape how Africa trades, travels, and grows. The SGR is not just a single railway line, it's a network, a massive, interconnected system that will run through every EAC member state, linking the Indian Ocean ports of Mombasa and Dar es Salaam to landlocked cities deep inland. This project is split into two main arteries, the Northern Corridor and the Central Corridor. The northern one begins at Mombasa, passes through Nairobi, heads to Malaba, and continues toward Kampala, Kigali, and Juba. The Central Corridor, led by Tanzania, connects Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, then branches west toward Rwanda, Burundi, and the DRC. Together, they form one massive network linking millions of people and several of Africa's fastest-growing economies. Where the dream took shape. The project gained major attention during the 19th EAC Sectoral Council on Transport, Communications, and Meteorology held in Arusha, Tanzania in 2025. Ministers and regional leaders gathered to finalize the joint plan, an ambitious 6,220-kilometer SGR that would bring every EAC country under one unified transport system. At the meeting, Mr. Andrea Aguirre Ariak Maluth, the EAC Deputy Secretary General in charge of Infrastructure, said that Kenya and Tanzania had already taken the lead. He stressed that the SGR wasn't just about railways, it was about trade, jobs, and the movement of people. Kenya's big push. Kenya was one of the first to move. Its standard gauge railway from Mombasa to Nairobi became the foundation of the wider regional plan. Now President William Ruto has a bigger goal: to extend that line from Naivasha all the way to Uganda, Rwanda, and the DRC. During the East African Community Interparliamentary Games in Mombasa, Ruto announced their expansion plan. "We have agreed with Uganda, Rwanda, and DRC that the SGR will be extended from Naivasha so we can use it whenever we are going to these places," he said. His goal is clear: make cross-border trade faster, easier, and cheaper. Ruto said that the SGR will help boost intra-regional trade, which currently stands at around 28%, far below Asia or Europe, where trade between neighboring countries exceeds 60%. The extension would transform how goods move, reducing road congestion, cutting fuel costs, and linking industries across borders. Tanzania's electrified leap. If Kenya started the movement, Tanzania electrified it. Literally, the country has become the first in East Africa to complete a fully electrified standard gauge railway. Its first line connects Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, forming part of the Central Corridor SGR. The impact has been huge. Electric trains move faster, carry more cargo, and are cheaper to operate than diesel ones. According to reports, Tanzania's electrified railway is already strengthening its economy by connecting inland producers to the port of Dar es Salaam, making exports smoother and more efficient. Uganda joins the tracks. Uganda has also begun construction on its side. President Yoweri Museveni officially launched work on the Malaba Kampala SGR, starting with a 272-kilometer section. The plan is to build it in phases, ensuring that each segment is economically viable and linked to Kenya's line at the border. When finished, this stretch will allow trains from Kenya's coast to travel directly into Uganda's capital, Goods that once took days by road will move in hours by rail. Museveni's administration expects this to not only ease transport, but also create jobs and attract new industries along the route. Tying the continent together. According to EAC data, 1,120 kilometers of SGR are already operational, mostly in Kenya and in Tanzania. Another 1,100 kilometers are under construction in Tanzania. The remaining 4,000 kilometers are in design and preparation stages across other member states. Funding for such a vast project comes from multiple sources, but a major boost arrived when the African Development Bank approved $696.41 million for Phase 2 of the Tanzania-Burundi DRC SGR. This section will expand the Central Corridor, linking Dar es Salaam to landlocked economies in Central Africa, a move that could reshape trade routes across the continent. The EAC is also working to harmonize technical standards, ensuring all railways across the region operate smoothly. This means a train leaving Dar es Salaam should be able to travel through Rwanda, Uganda, and DRC without switching engines or changing tracks, a true symbol of cooperation. The DESSU Corridor. Alongside the SGR, there's another project taking shape, the DESSU Corridor, linking Djibouti, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Uganda. Like the SGR, it aims to improve cross-border trade and connect landlocked nations to seaports. Both projects share the same spirit: African countries building African infrastructure for African growth. The two networks, SGR and DESSU, could eventually merge, creating a continental rail web, stretching from the Horn of Africa to the Great Lakes region. That would mean one continuous transport system capable of moving goods from the Red Sea all the way to the Indian Ocean. Economic power on rails. The goal of the SGR goes far beyond transport. It's about integration, uniting economies that have long depended on foreign ports and old colonial trade systems. When complete, the SGR will drastically reduce cargo transit times. For instance, freight that once took a week to move from Mombasa to Kampala could soon take less than 24 hours. Businesses will save millions in logistics, and smaller traders will gain access to regional markets. According to Kenya's Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Churcher, removing cross-border barriers will be crucial. The removal of these barriers would boost trade within the EAC, he said. He compared East Africa's 28% intra-regional trade to Europe and Asia's 60% plus, pointing out how better transport infrastructure is the missing link in Africa's economic story. Continental momentum. The SGR isn't happening in isolation. Across Africa, nations are investing in modern railways. In Morocco, upgrade works are ongoing for the Kenitra-Marrakesh high-speed rail line in Casablanca. North, south, east, and west, countries are rediscovering the power of rail to move people, goods, and ideas. These projects are proof that Africa's infrastructure ambitions are evolving from plans on paper to trains on tracks, and the timing couldn't be better. With economies growing, urban populations expanding, and global trade shifting, modern transport systems are no longer optional. They're essential. Challenges and coordination. But such an ambitious dream isn't without challenges. Funding, coordination, and standardization remain key hurdles. As Mr. Ariak highlighted, success depends on joint resource mobilization and coordination across member states. Without it, gaps between national projects could delay progress or limit efficiency. That's why the EAC has prioritized joint planning. By pooling financial and technical resources, they aim to avoid duplication and ensure a consistent network across borders. A new chapter for Africa's movement. The East African SGR is more than a transport line. It's a statement that Africa can design, fund, and build mega projects that serve its own people. It's a turning point that signals a future where borders divide maps, not minds. Already over 1,000 kilometers of modern rail are operational. Electric trains are running. Construction continues, and cooperation between leaders is stronger than ever. When the final stretch of track is laid, it will connect 8 nations, millions of people, and a shared Vision of progress. The story of the SGR is still unfolding, but one thing is clear. Africa is not waiting for the world to build its future. It's doing it itself. What do you think? Will this be the project that finally links Africa together? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned because the next train across the continent is already on its way.